So we're here at Team BRIT's new facility on the south coast of the UK, where Team BRIT driver and business development manager Paul is going to take me for a tour of the facilities. I can't wait, and I'm really excited to see what you've got going on in this. Well, it's a new facility, isn't it, here?
Brand new to us. We've moved in a couple of months ago. We were up at the Top Gear test track, and we've moved down here. We've got loads more space. We're really pleased with it. I'm looking forward to showing you around.
So take me through the place. First of all, you've got race bays and other electrical bits and bobs towards the door here. So go on, you tell me what's going on.
Absolutely. So we split the whole unit up into different bays, and then we can concentrate on each task in hand. So the first bay we come to is our electronics bay, and that's primarily where we'll develop the hand control systems that we use in the car. So this bay is crucial. Our chief engineer will spend most of his working day in here fiddling and getting the system all correct. And once they're done here, they'll move on into the cars.
Okay, so you've got hand controls being put together here, and those hand controls are going in all of the cars you race?
Absolutely. So all of our cars have the same hand control system in them. So whichever car we get into as a driver, it's identical. We know where the paddles and the pedals are, and whatever we're using as a unique driver, we can just pick up what we need.
What a fantastic set of race bays you've got against this back wall. So how many cars do you have moving through this facility on a sort of weekly basis?
So it varies week to week because we have other cars coming in for development work with other disabled drivers, like the Audi in the background over there. But generally we'll have a pair of McLarens that we race at GT4 level, and then we've got 2 training cars, a 2 Series and a 1 Series. I think we've even got a little Citron C1 in the back for real junior racing.
So a pair of McLarens ready to go for the British GT Championship?
That was last year. This year we're doing the British Endurance Championship. This car's been running since the beginning of the season, and this one's coming in. It's being prepped at the moment for Silverstone is the next round.
So this is your McLaren GT4 car? This
is, yeah. It's just come back for some testing. It had a bump, so you can appreciate it's got a bit of duct tape on it.
Ignore this area here. That you didn't see that. We'll sort that out in post. So take me through it then from front to back. Car specifications. Obviously, it's a car, one of the few GT4 cars with a carbon fibre chassis.
It is a full carbon fibre tub on it. It's a 570S GT4. We run it in different championships. Like I said, this year it's in the Endurance Championship. The car is fantastic. As I'm sure you know, it's a brilliant race car, absolutely great to drive. The unique part for us, though, is the way we drive it and the hand controls that we use.
So the hand controls inside the car right now are different from anything that I would have used in the world of endurance racing.
Absolutely. So you could hop in this car right now and drive it as a completely normal car. It's got normal pedals, normal steering wheel. The controls are completely as you'd be used to. However, if we have a driver that's got limited use of limbs or abilities upper and lower, they can pick up paddles on the steering wheel and replace the pedals with those. So it's completely adaptable to every single disability that we have on the team.
So those are those 2 thumb paddles here that sit just above the steering wheel, are they?
Absolutely. So on the paddles on the thumbs on either side of the wheel are gear up and gear down on the top and the bottom respectively. So no matter where you are in the position of the steering rack, you can still get to the gear changes. And on the outside behind the wheel, you've got an accelerator on the right and a brake on the left.
Oh, fabulous. So a lot of different options. It's a powerful machine to be controlling, isn't it, with different controls. So your engine in the rear, how much grunt does it produce then?
Depending on the championship they're running in, I think at the moment it's somewhere in the 400 region, but it can go way above that depending on what we're running.
So it depends on the rules.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have to comply obviously with the championship rules at any one time.
Standing in one of your fantastic race bays here, are all of these bays the same, or are they specific to the car which runs out of them?
They're specific to the car. So the car comes into the bay, all the tooling for this specific car will be around the car. Even between the 2 McLarens, they'll have individual tooling and sort of things that they need. So every car has its own space.
Fabulous stuff. Let's take a wander down then to do your BMW, shall we? Where is this beast racing throughout the year?
So this is in Class 2 in the Brit Car Trophy Championship at the moment. It's just come back from Brands Hatch. Again, it's looking a little beat up, but it came back with a P2, I think, from Brands, so it's doing really well. I drove this car last year, and it's actually my favourite car on the fleet. It is such a raucous car to drive. Loads of power, not as much grip, obviously, as the McLaren, but that makes it fun.
Take us through the thing then, front to back. So obviously, a more sort of road or production-derived chassis, but with obviously your hand control specifications in it, but also the racing modifications as well.
Absolutely. So this runs in Class 2 at the moment. It has run in Class 3 as well, and obviously we can change the spec depending on where we want to run. It was originally a write-off, so it was bought as a write-off car from the road, and then we've converted it into race spec. In a straight line, it's almost got the legs on the McLaren. It's that quick. It's a really, really superb setup car. And again, hand control is absolutely identical to all the other cars. So if you jump into this and then into the McLaren, you won't really notice any difference from a control point of view.
So I see it sitting at the moment on a set of cut slicks. Is that how they run?
Yeah, for the championship, we're allowed to run cut slicks on this. The McLarens, obviously, we can run slicks, but this is only allowed onto cut slicks or wets, depending on the conditions. And in the UK, it runs wets more often than it runs
Never seen a set of slicks.
No, never, unfortunately. But it's still really capable on the cuts.
Great stuff. And hiding then in the corner, the Citron C1, very much your entry-level machine, I guess.
Absolutely. So the rookie drivers normally come in year one, and they'll do a number of different races in this. The C1s have got their own championship, including a 24-hour. So I was lucky enough to go and get to do that with the rookies last year, and it's still, this is how it came back from the 24-hour. So it's still as it came back.
That's seen some action, hasn't it?
It's really elbows out racing in that championship. So they get a real feel for car control, and they get a real feel for what it's like to get your elbows out and really go racing and get that racecraft behind you before they step up into the BMWs. So it's a cracking little car.
Absolutely stock C1.
Stock C1.
Stripped, stock gearboxes.
Still got the radio in it. So we listen to the radio as we go around on the 24-hour. It actually rolled over in the 24-hour.
It rolled?
It rolled on the last one, and the radio was still going as the marshals were digging it out of the gravel. So tough little car.
There's a couple of dents on the roof.
Yeah, it's had a new roof since then, but the rest of it is as is.
Yeah, I was going to say it's come off much better than I expected for going over.
Yeah, they pop over like you wouldn't believe on those.
Yeah, so they roll, and then they continue in the race. And everything's just fine.
It was back on, I think within an hour or so, and then it went on and did really well. So it's not uncommon for these ones to roll over mid-race.
Bought some special rims there from Matt Neal at Team Dynamics.
I know, it's one of the only upgrades you can make on these. Is put a nice set of rims on it.
Very impressive. I know Matt will be rubbing his hands in glee. sold another set. So you prepare all of the cars here, you work through all of the series here, but you're also preparing drivers here, aren't you, for their various exploits, and you've got the simulators to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. So normally, as you know, in racing, most drivers come up through karting and then junior series, and then by the time they get to GT racing, they've done a lot of racing. But for our drivers, they'll normally be introduced to the team after an accident. Certainly my case, lost my leg, and then thought, right, I want to go and do something else. I'll try out for the team and got in that way. So the learning curve for our drivers is generally a lot steeper than it is for your drivers that have started when they were 8 or 9 at karting. So the sim work is really important, but because we've got the hand controls in the car, the simulators have to be set up in the same way, because otherwise there's no point training on something you're not going to use. So our simulators are a modification, kind of reflection of what we use in the car.
And do you spend most of the time training the drivers, the circuits and the nature of the cars, or do you find that most of that process is learning the hand controls to begin with rather than learning the racetrack?
Well, you can tell me if you have a go on the hand controls. Most people pick it up really quickly. The people that pick it up the fastest are drivers that don't drive on the road. So Noah, who drives the 240, he came to us without a driving license, and so when we told him this is how you drive a car, from the get-go, he just got in and picked it up. Whereas if you have someone who's been driving a car for 20 years with feet and pedals and then has an accident, like myself, it's much harder then to rewire the brain. So I'd like to get your feedback on what you think on that.
Almost harder to unlearn than to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to get people to cross their feet because, lap 3, you forget that you use the hand controls and you'll go for a break. So there's a bit of cross-wiring to do.
So this Audi you have, obviously it's an incidental car to today, but it does reflect another activity you do, which is the sort of assisting other disabled drivers in modifying their cars for race conditions.
Absolutely, that's a big part of what we want to do, because there's lots of disabled drivers out there that want to go racing, and we've developed these world-class hand controls. We want to make sure that they can use them as well, because there are drivers out there using push-pull, and as I'm sure you can imagine, if you've ever seen a push-pull, you can either either go or you can stop, but you can't do both. So those systems are great for road use, but people who are trying to race with them, it's really hard. So our hand controls give you a really level playing field, and that's important.
All of the trophies you've been accumulating across the top of the gantry there. Good to see. Another machine here for the Brit Car series?
Yeah, so this is in Class 3 in Brit Car. This is a more junior version of the 2 Series. So after the C1, drivers will generally come into this for a year. It's still about 300 horsepower, so it's still a pokey car, and it's quite soft and quite forgiving. But it's that conversion over to rear-wheel drive for drivers to get in and sort of become used to that kind of style of driving.
Of course, because they've come from the C1.
It's a very different...
Where you can plant your foot, it's not going to slide, and then all of a sudden they need to get used to the car moving around.
As you know, it's a big change to go from sort of a very junior car into a rear-wheel drive style car. So this gives them a perfect platform before they go to the much more powerful 2 Series.
So looking very secretive over here. I'm not sure how secretive it is. This is the dirty room, isn't it? So are we allowed inside? Is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So whereas most workshops will have a clean room where they do their clean operations,
everything's clean.
Everything's clean.
And
here.
you have a dirty.
If we want to do a dirty operation, we'll bring it here. So this is where we'll do anything that's not able to come into the main room.
So all of the bits, bobs, repairs, issues, anything that you're basically not comfortable to do around the cars will get done in here. And this is it's a bit like that drawer in the kitchen, isn't it?
Absolutely.
This room?
Yeah,
absolutely. With 25 batteries, an Allen key, and but every team needs one, don't they? Because that's where the business is done.
And it's a case that we want to keep this immaculate. If you work clean, you race clean. So by keeping all of the dirtier jobs in here, it means that we don't contaminate anything in the main compartment. We can keep it looking like it is. And that's a big part of the mindset when you go racing, is to make sure the fundamentals are down.
Absolutely so. I think we should go out. I think we should go outside again and witness the clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me to thank you very much.
No problem. It's been an absolute pleasure. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for coming
down. And brilliant workshop. Congratulations on the new facility. Best of luck in the car.
Thank you very much.
And in your business development activities for the team. Have a great season.
Thanks very much. Lovely to meet you. Take care.